Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the top 5 best Sony lenses. Starting at number 5. Sony SEL 2470GM E-mount. If you want one lens that can handle pretty much any shooting scenario and produce clear, vibrant and sharp images with incredible detail, the Sony 24-70mm f2.8 should be at the top of your wishlist. Let's start with the bad news. This is one expensive lens. If you're coming from Nikon or Canon, you'll be used to the high price of f2.8 zooms. The price is more easily justified. There's a lot of crazy engineering that goes into producing a fixed aperture lens of this caliber. You can see the latest price of this Sony mid-range zoom lens here. Now that you've got over that initial shock, why the heck am I recommending such expensive glass in a roundup that's supposed to cater for the average photographer? Simple, because it's the best. Yes, there's an f4 Zeiss version and even a 28-70mm f3.5 to 5.6 Sony offering too, but they're all outperformed by the 24-70mm f2.8. 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 f2. For more information and latest price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. At number 4. Sony FE 28mm f2. Along with the aforementioned 35mm, the Sony 28mm f2 was the second of 3 lenses I bought when I switched from Nikon to Sony this year. At only 200 grams and a truly pocketable size, I imagined this would be my everyday lens for non-professional use, or the lens I'd attach to my new A7 III when traveling. In actual fact, it turned out to be much more than that. 28mm is a somewhat unusual focal length, and it did admittedly take me a little time to get used to. I'm not a fan of shooting extensively with a 24mm, so was worried that 28mm would be touch too wide, but it's actually not too daunting. 28mm allows you to get up close to the action, whilst still providing enough room in the frame to tell the story via the background or other foreground elements. The Sony 28mm f2 is also popular on Sony E-mount bodies, providing a 42mm field of view. Due to its small size, it feels great when attached to Sony crop sensor bodies and makes a fun walk-around lens. I find that many Sony full-frame camera owners also own crop sensor compact cameras too. By investing in lightweight Sony FE lenses such as this 28mm, it's easy to use the same lens on the smaller crop sensor body and take advantage of the image quality inherent in FE glass. Halfway of my listed number 3. Sony FE 16-35mm f2.8 GM. If you're looking for the best wide-angle zoom lens available for Sony full-frame mirrorless cameras, look no further than the Sony 16-35mm f2.8 GM. I'll be uploading some sample photos I took in Tokyo soon, but in the meantime, have a read about this incredible lens. Owners of the Sony 16-35mm f4 Zeiss may not want to read any further, but let me just say this before digging deeper: the Zeiss version is smaller, lighter, cheaper, and can deliver outstanding results. GM stands for G Master, the premium Sony E-mount lenses, similar to Canon's L series. Check out the video below to see the features that put the GM lenses one step above all the others in the Sony lens catalog. Most of the advantages of G Master lenses over regular Sony lenses, or even Zeiss lenses, are admittedly a little hard to quantify by the average photographer. It's hard after all to differentiate between very good and great when lens quality is already more than most of. Coming in at number 2. Sony FE 35mm f1.4 Zeiss. Still on the classic 35mm focal length, the Sony 35mm f1.4 is my recommendation for Sony full-frame shooters. I was on the fence for a while whether to include the excellent Sony FE 35mm f2.8 here instead, but realized that my love for that lens was mostly due to its size rather than its optical performance. If portability is your primary concern, the f2.8 model is the best choice, but the lens I'm about to tell you about below is much better. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way first. The 35mm f1.4 is an expensive lens. Although cheaper than the Canon Nikon equivalents by about $300, I imagine that the majority of its owners are either professionals or amateurs who place a great value on stellar imaging performance. And number 1. Sony SEL35 f18-35mm f1.8. Still on the topic of small, lightweight lenses that pair perfectly with Sony mirrorless cameras, the Sony 35mm f1.8 deserves pride of place in this list. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's my favorite lens for a crop sensor Sony body such as the a6000. At half the weight of the camera body, it's the perfect complement to the slender Sony APS-C sensor bodies. If you own a full-frame Sony body, feel free to skip ahead to the next recommended lens, since the 35mm f1.8 is only for APS-C sensor shooters. Although technically it'd fit on a full-frame body, you'd experience nasty vignetting unless you crop the image in camera. On a crop sensor Sony mirrorless camera, this lens will give roughly a 50mm field of view, which is ideal for a whole range of subjects. 50mm is a popular focal length since it gives an undistorted view of the world and can be flattering for portraits without making the subject feel detached like a longer lens might. For more information and latest price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, you can leave a comment below